I get double chinner. Well, hey, I don't have my stand tonight, fellas, so you get to watch my double chin. But thank you. I want to thank Slum Enterprises, Wet Camp Transport, Casper Ag, Trip Downing, and Front Street Toys for sponsoring our show tonight. And tonight we have a great show with Bill Smith and the Ruf family here. We're going to do a little tribute to Mark Ruf, a great friend we lost here a few weeks ago, an inductee into the Hall of Fame last week at the Badger State banquet. And John can't be with us tonight. His son is not feeling well, so John's home doing the right thing, taking care of what he has to do. So, Bill, I see you got Bill there, Bill Smith, Dick Ruf, and who all you got there with you, Bill?
We got Mark's boys, Mike and Jake, and Matt, and his brother Duke, and his brother Dick, his daughter Brandy, and his nephew Lee, Dick's son.
Perfect. So what are we going to do tonight? Tell some good Mark Ruf stories? Is that our plan?
I want to go out there.
There's good ones and bad ones. Which ones do you want to hear?
We only have an hour, so we're not going to listen to them all, right? So
We can't get it all done tonight.
Yep. They were great the other night, so Ryan, do you have the video that was played the other night at the banquet? Should we start with that and then we go on from there?
Yep.
That sounds great. Let's run that video. And it's a great video. Bill, you did a great job with this.
Our 2025 Hall of Fame inductee is from Darlington, Wisconsin. Actually, he's from Fayette, Wisconsin. If you live in Fayette, you're from Fayette. You actually just have a Darlington address. Mark Ruf started his pulling career on a Massey Harris 44 and, of course, at the Lafayette County Fair in Darlington. He later drove many different Massey Fergusons. The Rufs were always known for their Massey Harrises and Massey Fergusons, and they were never strangers to the Badger State tractor pullers. Their father, John, started them all as he was one of the first Badger State members on his Massey Harris 30. His brother Dick is already in the Hall of Fame, and his brother Bill and Duke were all pulling Massey 1150s or 1155s. In 1987, Badger State started a new class that was evolved from the former farm class. It would be called Super Farm. Mark and his partner Tom Reichling became the black sheep of the Ruf staple, campaigning on an Alice Chalmers 210. That season, they became the first ever Super Farm points champions on that Alice Chalmers 210. The next few years, the Ruf family campaigned 4 tractors, 2 1150 Masseys, and Mark aboard his Alice Chalmers in the Super Farm class, and his brother Duke aboard a Massey 1155 and the natural aspirated classes. As years passed and the Alice and the 1150s faded away, Mark never strayed from being a part of the Badger State tractor pulls. You could always find him sitting along the track, closely watching to see where that sweet spot was. Mark stayed close to the Super Farm class for those next few years. You could usually find him hanging close with the Screaming Norwegian team or the Thunder Clutch team. He worked as a promoter for the Lafayette County Fair and the Iowa County Fairs, and he was involved in the first meetings when the Badger State Tractor Pullers joined a national organization known as the ATPA. Anyone who was ever involved with the Badger State Tractor Pullers knew Mark, as he was always making new friends, and maybe some that were fierce competitors or enemies years ago would later become friends. He was always about having fun. He was always going to make sure that you had fun as well. If you didn't have that on fun a day with him, you obviously weren't in the mood for it. In the 2000s, he became a major role on the high maintenance team. He was a mechanic, the crew chief, and the occasional driver. He took the high maintenance pro farm on a points winning pass at the Greene County Fall Nationals in 2013. He also played a big part coaching his nephew Lee aboard the Fair Warning tractor, even though he and his brother Dick usually disagreed. In 2016, Mark was inducted to the Lafayette County Tractor Pullers Hall of Fame. That night, he piloted a farm stock 210 Alice, and he looked exactly the same he did back in 1987, except maybe he was 100 pounds heavier. Mark was a dedicated member of the Badger State Tractor Pullers when it started in 1974, and he was only 14 years old. He always played a role as a driver, a crew member, a promoter, or maybe just a fan, but his presence was always known. Please help me welcome the family of Mark Ruf, this year's Hall of Fame inductee.
I was the whole time we were there. I was captain the whole time in the rest seat.
All right. We back? We back, Ryan?
Yeah, we're back.
Okay, perfect. Hey, Bill, that was a great tribute to Mark, and I know Ryan and you helped him do all that. You guys did a great job. I love that. And then anybody that knew Mark knew just what you're talking about, I feel, right, Bill? I don't know what to say. Hard to get back here and talk after that for me. So everybody else on there, and I'm going to go my Mark Ruf story. The first time I met him, we were in Amboy, Illinois. We had just pulled in Darlington the night before, and Mark invited me down because we used to pull at noon and in the evening there twice a day. And they had a pickup truck full of beer. And I went over and drank beer out of Mark's bag of Mark's truck. And then the next day we were in Amboy or the next weekend or something. And he came up to me. I was changing the timing on my tractor, late getting there, just doing all this stuff. And he came up, talked to me the whole time. We put it all back together and said, "Hey, did you tighten up the jam nuts on the timing gear?" And I said, "Well, I thought I did, but I'm not sure." But so we took it all apart. He helped me do it. And we were great friends after that, from that day on. You know, and I know I picked on him a lot, and he picked on me a lot, but that's what friends do, right? Are we still on here, Ryan?
Yeah,
Hello?
I hear you.
Yeah.
How about that?
You're there.
Everybody else? Okay, perfect. So that was my first Mark Ruf story. You know, so now somebody else has to tell one. You know, Bill, you've got a couple stories, right?
I got thousands.
You do. I know you do. I have more too, but that was my first story, and I remember Mark from that, and I know he picked on me a lot. You know, his lips moving, Greg's lying thing. That went on for 30 years. So how do you know Greg Elsing's lying? His lips are moving. All right, Mark. Yep. But he will be missed, you know. All the guys I met here, I always had fun with him, and he left too soon. So what do you do? You know.
What was the story when you made the bet with everybody and when you fell asleep?
Oh. Well, there's two parts to that story, all right? So I get there, it's in Gordyville, and first of all, Mark's tapping me with his arm. He's going, Greg, hey, we gotta get out. It's almost 3:30, and the bar closes at 3:30. I said, Mark, it's 3:30 in the afternoon. We're it's not 3. He thought it was 3:30 in the morning. So then everybody started talking about what time's Mark going to fall asleep. And I said, well, let's start a pool every 15 minutes. Everybody threw in $5 for every 15 minutes. And I wrote the pool up, and nobody would buy the first 15 minutes, which was like 20 minutes from now. So I said, all right, I'll take this. And I went and got him a warm chair and got his jacket, put it on him, and got him 2 pork chop sandwiches and a beer. He was asleep in 5 minutes. So I won the bet. I took the money. I said, hey, I took a picture of him and said, hey, I won, guys. Yep. Yep. So that might have been a little insider trading, but hey, that's what you do, right? Yep. 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 So, Mark, Bill, tell the story about the battery charger, because that's a famous story too.
Well, he took the tractor one night. I don't remember where they went, Bloomington or Platteville, somewhere late in the season. And I don't know what happened. It came loose in the trailer. And anything that was in the trailer, it ran over. It smashed every single thing in the trailer that was in it. Well, anyway, the battery worked, so we took it to Louisville with us. And, well, that was his parking stall late at night. And he sat down on that battery charger that he'd already smashed and passed out on it. And there was a lot of good pictures of it because it looked like he just sat on it and smashed it.
Yeah, that was funny. Yeah. Yep. So stories like that, and I know the Schulte boys in Louisville and stuff. I had fun with him, and one time in Louisville, somebody threw everybody's furniture out their hotel window into the parking lot. Mark thought he was going to be smart and steal somebody else's furniture and put it in his room. But little did we know that all the furniture had a tag on it for which room it was supposed to be in. But I was not the one that threw his furniture out the window, but he stole all my furniture.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So we had some crazy times. A lot of good times, I don't know. I can't name them all, and I probably shouldn't say a lot of the stories because his kids are watching.
Nothing we haven't heard.
You're old enough now, Greg. They can hear it.
No, it was fun.
Gonna be missed.
And he is going to be missed by every Badger State member that knew him, and Punky and I and Mark and Bill, the first time that first time in Darlington, we stayed there that night, and I rode with Mark to Fayette, to the Fayette Tavern or whatever it was called then. And he's driving about 120 miles an hour in this old pickup, and is bouncing off the side of the road back and forth. He's telling me all the stuff he hit, and the cops got him. And I'm looking for the seat belt. There's no seat belt in that thing. And we get to the bar, and we're drinking there, and Mark's drinking, and I said, Bill, the first time I talked to Bill, I said, hey, Bill, are you going back to Darlington? He said, yeah, I'm going back to Darlington. He said, I'm going to ride with you. Is that all right? We're leaving Mark here. So, yeah, a lot of fun, and just a great heart. Mark can do anything for you, anything. Yeah, I ever asked him to, right? We all know that, right?
For sure.
Know how to laugh.
Yeah, a lot of fun, a lot of laughing. We picked on each other. Even before Mark was sick with his, the lung transplant thing. Y'all heard the story I told him about a deserted island with one coconut tree. So I told Mark one time, I said, hey, because he had to sit down. He sat another battery charger story. He sat on the battery charger and broke the wheels off it, right? Down in Darlington or in Gordyville too.
Yeah,
and I said, Mark,
charger that he smashed.
Yep. I said, Mark, you're the guy that would, if you were stranded on a deserted island and there was one coconut tree to feed you, you'd cut the damn thing off to sit on the stump. So we picked on each other a lot. We had a lot of fun, it was. Yeah. But I got to hear some stories from you guys too about tractor pulling he was doing, and he was a great track reader, like you said in the video, Bill. He helped me win a few pulls when he was there and made suggestions. Sometimes I listened to him, sometimes I didn't. When I didn't listen to him a couple times, I regretted it because I heard all about it. But it's all fun. Yeah. Let's hear a couple stories from you guys, Bill.
Greg, you mentioned the Schultes there earlier. Dan was telling me a while back here at Mark's visitation that years ago they got drunk in Toma and all Dan's friends left him up there. And he had to get home and feed cattle. So he said the only guy I knew that was even remotely close was Mark. And they lived about 40 miles from us. But he asked Mark if he'd give him a ride home. Yeah, Mark said he'd give him a ride. So he gave him a ride home, and he got home and he says, "How much owe you?" Mark said, "You don't owe me anything, but you got to buy a Badger State calendar from me." Dan said, "I bought 10.
That's adorable. I love that.
That's a great story. That's a great story. And I mean, he made great friends wherever he was. You know, you talk about Phil Typin, you know, which we lost a few years ago too. Tell us about the story of Phil coming up to pull his hot farm tractor with you guys, or pro farm, whatever the heck you called that thing, you know, right? And
Yeah.
and you and Mark talked him into coming up there, I think, right?
Pretty much Mark.
Yeah. But he came up there and pulled and on Thursday night for the farm pull, you know, you guys have your so-called farm pull.
Yeah.
You know, and then yeah. And then stayed for Saturday night for the Badger State part of it too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
A lot
cleaned
of fun.
house. He won both times up here that night.
Yep. Yep.
Did
And
you look like
Wow.
Fuller?
yep. Yep. It was fun. Yeah. So I don't know.
That guy.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna miss Mark, and we miss Phil too, you know. And I talked to Scott Typin quite often, his son, you know, and we have a lot of fun talking I shouldn't say quite often, but we talk enough to know each other, what's going on in the world with each other. So, you know, when somebody's gone, you always wish you would have talked to him more and been there for him more. But you know, what do you do, right? You know, it was hard for me losing Mark and being there 1 minute, you know. You always wish you could have seen him one more time. It's killing me. But good friend, you know, and a father that was more proud of his kids. Every time I talked to him, he told me what each one of you kids was doing. And how he was proud of you. Don't ever forget that, all right? I talked to Michael about this a little bit, but I didn't tell the rest of you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
He wasn't always proud of us. And then he
What
wondered.
father is?
I've always told the boys, Greg, it's not their fault.
He did exaggerate a little bit once in a while.
Yep. Good or bad, guys. Hey, he was proud of everything you did. Good or bad.
A lot
You
of
know,
it.
you heard about it.
You're good at it.
I remember I called one night and he was just grumbling. And I said to Lisa, "What's his problem?" And he's in the background. My kids are a bunch of idiots. And she said, "Well, where do you think they got it from?"
Right.
I love that. That's cute. Yeah.
Right.
He
Yep.
probably should have told us all the stories from when he was younger.
Yep.
There'll be more coming up. Yep.
Yep. It is. It was, you know, and I'm glad we do this show and stuff. We get to talk about this, you know, and we missed another puller we had this year, you know, Mike Meyer, you know, same thing. Good guy, good father, good competitor. And we'll get a show with Mike here and Brandy here soon too. But this one means a lot to me, and I don't know how to do it, you know, better for Mark, but I'm glad you guys are here. Each one of you got to tell me something about your dad that nobody knows, all right? Is that fair?
That's pretty tough.
Yeah. No, but you each have a story that you might not have told people, right? Brandy, start with you.
Oh, God. Well, there's a few. He did take me with him a couple times with Bill's hauler. And that's when the tractor let loose and went through the living quarters, wasn't it? Yeah.
You were along for that trip?
Yeah, it was just him and I. It was a car that stopped in front of us at a stoplight. And there was a few choice words that he said. When I was part of the Iowa County Pullers, He was right on speed dial. Every meeting we had, we called Dad. Call your dad, see what he thinks, what he would do. I don't know why we just didn't invite him to the meetings. But
Right.
he knew all the tractor pulling stuff.
Right. Well, he always stopped for a beer with the water truck right in front of the announcer stage. Is that where the water hole came from? That was the rumor.
Well, I know 2 years ago, nobody was allowed to go back to the pits in Iowa County for the tractor pull. Not even the fair board member couldn't get back there. But Mark Ruf came in and they had a spot right up front for him, so they let him through. He was pretty proud of that.
How can you not be? That's awesome.
That's funny. All right, Michael, you've got a story, right, that nobody knows?
I don't know. I think everyone knows them. Besides the picture Bill was talking about the night he got inducted to the Lafayette County Hall of Fame. That was my buddy's Alice, and it was like a couple weeks before me and Jake took it, actually pulled it in Argyle and Mineral Point, and we did absolutely terrible. He told us we didn't know how to drive it, so he would show us. We told him he ain't gonna do worth a shit, and he ended up getting fourth with that. I think he actually won with Chris Coase Massey. He said maybe next time you guys will listen to me.
Yep. Sometimes, yeah. Like my favorite saying to my boys is my dad didn't know anything either. You know,
Never
no,
fail.
Jake. Yeah.
If he was with you, and if you did good or won, I told you that, sort of go. That's what you said. Didn't you? If you didn't do good, what did you go there for? That's not where I told you to go.
Yep.
No,
Yep. Jake, you got Jake. Is Jake there? You said.
Yeah, he's back here.
Mike took
Yep.
mine.
Jake's got to tell a story too.
Mike took mine.
Well, you've got another one.
Nitrous? That video on there of him pulling my Massey, he was still on oxygen then. And when he got to the end, his tank rolled out front of the seat. He was hiding it because they thought it was nitrous.
Oh, is that funny?
That is funny. Yeah. That's a
Oh,
funny
that's
It might have been, too. You never know.
story. It might have been nitrous if I know Mark.
Yeah.
right. He put a green tag instead
Right.
of whatever.
He changed the tag on it. Yeah. Yep. So, all right. Who else is there? Matthew?
On the antique tractor. We were already beating everybody because he had it all souped up. It
was an antique tractor.
Antique
44 Massey. And
Speak up.
him and Uncle Duke zip tied the governor so he win this class. And the first place guy was 180 feet and I went 340 feet. The tractor ran out of on me and some guy jumped on the step and said, "Oh, what's going on with this tractor, huh?" And that's when my dad stepped on and said, "Nope, you just drive, you don't talk to those guys." And then he almost ran me into the wall in Joe Coach tractor once.
Yeah. That's funny. That's
He was
funny,
always
yeah.
good when we were kids, wanting to go to polls. And we had to get in the pits. He'd tell us, just tell him you got a part for whatever tractor that he was working with. And that would get us into the pits.
Right. Carry a part in. I remember him doing that. And I got in trouble from fair boards. Mark Ruf keeps carrying, all these guys keep carrying parts in the pits. Where are they going with them? I said, I don't know. Talk to Mark. No.
I know I told a story about him being grandpa at his funeral. My daughter was supposed to be grounded for something stupid, and I was working, and I looked at her, 60, and she's in Warren, Illinois, and nobody answered the phones. So I called Lisa, and she's like, "Oh yeah, Dad went and picked her up, and they're down watching Jake pull his tractor." 2 hours later, they're in Utica, Wisconsin. And I said, "What the heck are they doing up there?" Well, they're watching Jake. So he calls me afterwards and like, "Oh, you're too hard on her. She's with Grandpa. She's fine. She don't need to be grounded."
Well, if Lisa's there, she's probably got a lot of stories, right?
She's not. Yeah.
How many times? Yeah, go pick him up. You're a saint. All the stories I heard of you going to get him when he was, and then he wasn't there. Yep, that's funny stuff. Dick, you got to have some stories, right?
I'm just sitting here. I giggle every time I see that on the video. I had that picture of him kind of kneeled over the front of Bill's tractor, and somebody said, "That's because he's praying before they pull."
It's a pulling prayer.
Yep.
Oh, he was
Yep.
he was a character. He'd come up and tell me, "Oh, you better go over here on this side of the track. You better go there." Well, then, like I said, if you did good, I told you where to go. We did it. Not where the darn. What'd you go there for? What'd you do that for? You know,
Yeah. That ain't where I said to go. That ain't where I said to go.
Yeah.
We've all heard that.
What'd you do that for? Yeah.
He broke it.
That's not where I told you to go. Yep. Wrong gear, wrong part of the track. Well, whatever. Yeah. But that's hindsight's always 20/20, and it's all great, you know. But it's the friends you make here, you know, and you know, I love going to Darlington for years and being with all you guys, and just it's fun. I don't know what to say, you know, and all we can talk about is the fun we had, right? There was very few bad days with Mark. He always made light of everything, you know, no matter what it was.
I got you in trouble once or twice, but other than that.
Yeah. That might be, but you always counted on that. You know, no matter how bad it was, there was always a silver lining somewhere.
I don't remember exactly how it went, but it was something to do with him and Punky. Maybe it was the night you guys went to Fayette, but him and Punky got in a little bit of trouble, and Sheriff's Department calls me at 5 in the morning. Would you come down and pick up Punky's real name?
Nick.
No, it ain't Nick. He's got what's his real name?
Neeli.
Neeli.
Yep.
Yeah, Neeli. They were out playing around a little too late tonight. Neeli had to go down. Had to pick him up to Sheriff's Department and haul him home, sign for him. Haul him to my house for a while. That was after the fair. So.
Yep. Well, one night after the fair, we were parked. This is the old gooseneck days. Oli was with us, and we were parked in the back by what's the bar in the back of Darlington there? We always eat lunch, Bill, a couple times.
Was Annie's at one time, or
the parking lot? The 4-wheeler trail went through the back.
Oh yeah, used to be Annie's. Way back, it was.
Yeah. Well, we couldn't find Oli. There was a bunch of us. We couldn't find Oli, Kevin Olson, and you know, with us, and he's another guy that passed away that was always with us. And well, we're going to Fayette, so we all get in the tractor and trailer. A bunch of us jump in the tractor, and we leave because I couldn't find Oli. We just screw him. We're leaving. Here, he was sleeping under the tractor on the trailer. And he rode in the highway all the way down from Darlington to Fayette. He was awake when we got there.
Hang on.
Yep.
Good thing Mark didn't change.
And number stories you can't make up.
Holy, what a guy. Yeah,
So-
that's a hard one.
In my opinion, if you've never been to a Darlington tractor pull, you've never been to a tractor pull, right?
True story.
In my opinion, yeah.
True story.
Yeah, the fun you guys have there. Mark was part of it originally, and I'm Dick, you guys, and Bill, all you guys been part of that. That was the second Badger State tractor pull I ever went to. Was in Darlington. Second time I ever had to pull with Badger State, so it was fun. Yeah, and Mark made it fun. I always included everybody into anything you were doing. It was fun, you know. So one time I got him. We were down at another time in Gordyville years ago. I was home in bed at 3 or 4 in the morning. I was sleeping. Mark called me. He says, "Where are you at?" I said, "I'm by the pool." And he said, "What pool?" "At the Days Inn in Champaign." I was staying at the Days Inn in wherever town is in Gordyville there. Rantoul.
Yeah.
And Mark called me an hour later and says, "Hey, you're not by the pool." I said, "No, I'm in bed, dumbass." Yeah. It's all fun. I can tell stories like that all day, and everybody else can too, but they're all fun. And he got me a few times too, so that's the way it goes. Yeah.
Love to hear that shit.
Yeah.
Around the day and when him and Big Tom Reichel run that alley some of them days. Oh, they get going back and forth about what to do and where to go. And that was almost funny too. They had a pretty good year that first year out there. Big Tom, he passed away this year too. So, but they were quite the fellows. The partnership with the Dallas Chalmers Tractor.
Yep.
The last time they seen each other was at that Minter Point Fair when Dad got the front row parking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tom
Right.
left his in his hand.
I was the first one to ever drive that Alice, Greg.
You were?
Got that tractor together. Mark and I took it to Beaver Dam to a pull on a Sunday afternoon. Duke was there. He had his
The day Lee got born.
the day Lee was born.
Dick was supposed to go. I can't go today.
Better skip this.
We'll
Lee had-
stick Bill on it. In case it blows up, it wasn't ours. It'll be Bill.
No, it was pretty much stock. And we went there, and there's all these tractors that are, everybody's all tuned up. First time I ever saw a guy run high third in the farm class or an international. Well, Mark says, you can drive that today if you want. And I'm like, I can? Yeah, you can drive it. So he's running high third. We're running on the low side, third. On the way home, I said, how come you didn't want to drive it? Did you see all them hot tractors there? I wasn't going to drive that thing.
We're putting your dumb ass on there.
Sure, I'll do it.
I'm no dummy.
Yeah.
Pretty sure today Dad rode a bicycle upside down.
Can you?
Well, Duke, you haven't told us a Mark story yet. You got to have a good. You've got to have more than one good. Yeah.
Me and Bill and Lee were talking about at the banquet the other night. He put that inline pump on that 210 that time. He took it up to Hub City. Me and Mark and Bill come down from Austin. Had a belt drive on that pump. He took off. It was really running. It got all squiggly and thought he's going to end up in the river. Why didn't you back out of it? They had the throttle hooked up backwards.
The more he backed out of it, the faster he went.
The faster he was going. Flagman had to run for his life.
Yeah, that's funny stuff. And remember, like you said, you can't make them stories up. They are all true. Mark, one time we were out in Iowa and I'm lost. It's foggier than heck. We're leaving a tractor pull. He says, "Just go down this road and I'll tell you when to turn." Well, 2 hours later, I'm going the wrong way yet. And he's asleep. I said, "Mark, when are we going to turn?" "Well, you're supposed to turn 2 hours ago." When everybody in the truck is asleep and I'm awake and all right, turn around, go back again. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yep. That was fun. Another fun day. Gravel roads in Iowa, Yep.
Classic.
Yep. So,
Well, more chatting time.
right? But nobody was sleeping. There was no chatting.
No.
Yep.
No.
Yeah. So who else is there that's got a good Mark story to tell?
Let's
You got to have
he's got a good Mark Ruf story.
Lee's got to have some.
Flat wheels. When the hub broke.
Oh, we don't want to talk about that.
Yeah, you do.
I would say one time we went to Toma and we got VIP tickets. We were up in the VIP section. Of course, we drank a little too much. The next morning, Bill's calling Mark. "Hey, who won?" Mark just starts rattling off names, this person, that person. Bill calls us back about an hour later. "Hey, dumbasses, you know the pool got rained out, right?"
Stop! That is too funny.
Yep.
Oh my God.
But Mark, he was Johnny on the spot. He was just rattling off names to every class of who won. He didn't have a clue.
Yep. The pool was rained out.
Michael, tell your story.
Classic.
Dad's Barstool.
I remember this probably been 4 or 5 years ago at least. We got up to Toma and it was Friday night and the poll was about done. We went to the crowbar instead of going to the poll. And I walked in and I sat in the corner seats by the window there where he always sat. And I ordered a Captain and they gave me the plastic cup. and I wanted a big glass, and they wouldn't give me a big glass. She goes, just so you know, about an hour, you're going to have to get up. We got the regulars that are going to be in here. I said, whatever, we'll be fine. He walked in, and the minute he seen me, just thumb up and didn't say a word, just get up. And they gave him a big glass. And he told me I haven't earned it.
That's funny. I got another Mark story about Louisville. I don't know how many people remember the days of Coyotes when we would go down to Louisville and they always frisked you when you went in, and all this. So they're patting Mark down, and they grab something out of his pocket, and they pull it out. It's a pork chop sandwich. What are you doing with this, sir? Well, I'm going to eat it later. Is that all right? Yep. He's trying to sneak a pork chop sandwich in.
Doesn't your mom with a stick in her purse?
Right. That's funny stuff. Yeah.
You would know all the time that Jelly pulled his pants off.
Yeah.
We were at Denny's at the truck stop, and Mark was paying everybody's bill, and Jelly came up and
Mark's front
row, right where everybody walks in.
Jelly.
Jelly comes and pants and right down to everything. I've never seen this so fast.
Was he wearing Spider-Man underwear?
Or were they frozen in the freezer?
Right.
One year up in Oklahoma, we're on our way back to the hotel. We stopped at McDonald's, and they had the sprinklers going. So Mark was passed out in the passenger seat. We rolled the window down, and it was soaked him. He wakes up and back to the hotel. When the hell did it rain out?
It's none of the rain out.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, we love picking on him, but he picked on us all too, right?
Oh yeah, he gave it right back all the time.
Yep. It's easier now because he's not here to defend himself. Yeah. But all the days of pulling back in the days, originally, getting into the Hall of Fame of Badger State, I think it's great for him as he's a great addition. He embodies what our club is. We're here to have fun, right? And that's what I believe. We're here to put on a good show and be very competitive, but when we're done, we're going to have fun. That's what I get out of it. Don't you, Bill?
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Yep. And we're trying, and our club is because of that attitude. Our club is where it's at. Yeah. But who's on there? Carol Ruf.
What'd you say?
I always refer to the 1980s Ruf pulling team as the glory years. All four Ruf boys had tractors that pulled with Badger State. The semi-trailer loaded with 3 tractors and truck and gooseneck loaded with the 4th. Had lots of fun, met some great people. Thanks for all the tributes, Mark. Thank you, Carol. Thanks.
Wow.
That's a great addition.
Amazing.
Yep.
Love that.
Hey, Greg, you want to ask Dick how many log chains were on that load of 3 tractors in that trailer?
3.
I'm going to guess
Oh,
like
no.
2, one in front and one in
No,
back.
Hey, there was one. They used one chain on the whole load. The back tractor got chained on, that's it.
Oh,
Go.
I've heard that story. Well, did you ever lose any tractors?
Well, we almost
Never
lost Duke's 55 one night on the way home from Lancaster. We stopped in Rui on the way home, and the old 55, it was pretty much sitting on the trailer crossways when we got to Rui.
Yeah. Did you have another chain then to put on, or did you just let her go the way it was?
Oh, we just tightened the binder up on that one.
That's adorable.
Yep. That reminds me of a story Jim Lutke had to call. What's his dad's name? Dang it, Jimmy. Lutke. Lloyd Lutke. Yeah. One time coming home from Kansas, Jimmy took the tractor and went to a pull in Kansas or something like that. And the weekend before, Lloyd hollered at Jimmy saying, "Hey, you didn't chain that tractor down right." Well, Jimmy rolled the tractor over in the ditch and the trailer tipped over. And he called home. He said, Dad, I just want you to know the tractor's chained to the trailer securely. The trailer's upside down. You know, and I don't know if Jimmy's listening to this because he does once in a while, but that is a funny story, and I laugh about that all the time. Yep, the tractor's still chained to the trailer, but it's upside down in the ditch. Yep, yeah. Roger, I gotta get up closer to the thing here. Koshar, seen at UW Hospital. I visited Mark a lot. He was a fighter. I didn't know he pulled in Alice. He will be missed. Yep, thank you, Roger. Yep.
So he's a janitor at UW, and him and Dad somehow got talking about tractors one day.
I used 4 days to name.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
So then he'd stop in and see him all the time. Dad appreciated it.
Yep. Perfect. So, yeah. I guess if I'm out of stories that I can tell on the air here, but anybody got any? You guys got any more?
I remember when Carson Carpenter started pulling farm tractors, we were 14, and he had to showcase his tractor at his older brother's graduation party. And he's related to Wally Weiss, and Wally was there, and he asked him, he's like, I heard you're going to start pulling. He said, yep. He goes, well, who do you got helping you? Mark and Dick Ruf and Lee Ruf. He goes, well, you'll be just fine. They invented cheating. You'll be all right.
Yep. That's funny.
And was he just fine?
He was just fine. Carson did just fine. Yep.
Speaking of Carson, years ago when Carson was in high school, they had the idol day. You had to get up and talk in front of class about somebody who was your idol and so forth. Well, here comes Carson. They said, okay, Carson, who do you want to be like someday? I want to be like Mark Ruf. Oh, boy.
He didn't.
That opened up a can of worms.
Hopefully it was a teacher that didn't know Mark.
Honestly, ironically, he has kind of became a Mark.
And the teacher goes, I was in Carson's class, goes, what's the most impressive thing you've seen? He goes, I once seen Mark in a tractor pull eat 15 hot dogs in one sitting.
Yep.
Liked his
Yep.
roller.
Oh yeah.
And he didn't
Yeah.
always pay for it.
No bun, I can eat as many as I want.
What's the soup de jour? The soup of the day. I'll take that.
No. So, Dick, you've announced a few pulls for Badger State. Did you announce any when Mark was driving a tractor? And did you get to pick on
Years ago. Yeah, years ago I did a lot of announcing. I'm sure I did, but I can't point a finger at any one pull. But yeah.
Yeah. It's fun. It's I love coming to Darlington and listening to all you guys. Honest to God, talking Darlington could be Twin Cities. It's crazy how you guys all act the same. We got the same crew up here, and it's fun. Yep, and it's amazing the friends you make and the families you make and everything you do. It's I love it. I love everything about it. So
there's some people take it way too serious. We got to take it serious this day and age. With the equipment we use, tractor running and so forth. But at the same token, you got to have some fun. And that's one thing about Badger State. It's like one great big family. And I'll tell you what, there isn't probably anybody in the association hardly that can help the next guy out. And that's great. That's really great. Badger State, you've been a big part of it. Great in what it has. You brought this outfit a long, long ways, and you've made us what we are today. One of the big backbones of that.
Well, it's just because I really feel it's because we all make sure we're friends first before competitors, right? Be a friend with a guy that's hard to cocksucker him if you're a friend with him, right? So be friends first and then be competitors after that, right? I believe.
100%.
Yep. But I'm at the end of my stories here, unless you guys have something or You want to, and or anybody wants to send something in, a story, Mark story, and I know the Schulte boys, Dan Schulte's got some stories. Dan and I and Mark did some dumb stuff together, and I'm not saying it. Dan can tell them stories, but I'm not going to be the guy that brings that stuff up. But it's all fun. All the days back in Louisville, 30 years ago, the dumb stuff we did. Nobody had two nickels to rub together. We were all 15 guys sleeping in one room, and them were the days that you made friends. I honestly believe that, and them friendships last a long time. So, yep. I don't know.
It's a great club.
Yep. It's a great club, great bunch of guys. We all hung out together, and I remember the days I call them the gooseneck days when you leave the pull in the middle of the week. The first bar out of town had 25 trailers surrounding it.
Yeah.
Right? You remember that, right, Bill?
Oh, yeah.
Yep. All fun. Well, I think if you don't have anything else, it can be the end of the show here.
Well, thank you, Greg. Thanks for everything you do.
Yeah, thanks, Greg.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you guys for coming on. And again, Mark was a great big part of Badger State Tractor Pulling in my opinion, and he will be missed. And I hope all you kids and family hang around as long as I'm here. I want you guys all here. So, you're a big part of my family too. So thank you guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yep. Well, I want to thank Don Slama, Slama Enterprises, Wettenkamp Trucking, Ed Casper Ag Services, Front Street Toys, and Trip Downing for supporting our show. Thank you guys very much, and thank you guys for coming on. We'll see you next Monday night. I don't know what we've got going on, but we'll fly by the seat of our pants again and get something done. Yep, we'll be here, right? We'll do our Christmas show. Right? We'll make it a Christmas show.
Right.
Yep. So, all right, guys. Thank you
Thanks,
much.
Frank.
Thank you, Ryan.